Okay, OAuth can be pretty complex depending on your configurations in high level and depending on if you're doing something like an AI automation agency where your sub accounts are outside of your main go high level account. So I'm going to go through all the ways to connect OAuth and to triage some OAuth stuff because it can get a bit complex, especially if you have different plans of high level, like the 97 plan of high level. So the general or best way usually tends to be under the 297, 497 plan of high level. So you have marketplace access, you have that, that ability to do an agency level integration. That starts with going to home and you'll see your agency level integration here. You can also find that under integrations in the settings right here. They're both the same thing. So let's go ahead and connect to that. I'll just go through this little click through. It's going to take me to high level. And when I get to high level, what I'm going to do is pretty much just log in. So if you're not logged in, it's going to ask you to log in. And if you're logged in, you should just see a pop-up. We're going to log in here to go through all the steps together. Okay, so I was already logged in. I just needed to, I guess, refresh on that page. So if I'm doing a connection from the agency level here, so I have the 297 plan of high level and the 497 plan of high level. I'm going to connect to my agency, and if you don't see agency here, this means trying in an incognito browser or logging into app.gohighlevel.com rather than your white label domain. So we'll click on our agency here. There's two toggles here. You click both of those toggles, and then we proceed. And that'll take us back to the root domain here for our workspace, create assistant. So if you're logged into some sort of white label domain or whatever it is there, just make sure that if you come here and it's going to ask you to log in, you log in, or you can start this process from createassistants.com and you should be good to go. So the workspace that I'm going to do is AI voice and chat. You should just have your one here. You'll click connect. And what it's going to do is connect it and then bring me back here. Awesome, right? But if I go into, say, one of my sub accounts here, and I have a white label domain here, so it may ask me to log in. If I go into one of my sub accounts, you'll see that it's not connected. And I can tell you that just by looking here. And how I know is that when there is a sub account that is connected, there will be a green little link button here. I'll show you that. Let me log into this other domain here and I'll show you. By the way, if you have a white label domain and you try to go to a sub account under like a different name, it's like how you have high level and you have your white label domain of high level and you have app.gohighlevel.com. It's technically the same thing, just different cookies in your browser. So just log in like you normally would. It's going to take you back here and you're all good to go, right? Okay, so I see in the sub account, no active CRM connection. Nothing's coming through. I mean, it is because it was connected up until a minute ago, but you're seeing random IDs, you're not seeing names. You see this big red banner that says no active CRM connection. If we just go back to our workspace, and like I said, this is for the 297, 497 plan of high level, you can just click this button here. What it's going to do is it's going to OAuth your accounts. And the ones that are owned by your agency, you'll see it'll start to populate this connection, right? So if I go back here, that big red banner is gone. We are officially connected, right? We have an access token. These accounts are good. You notice that this one didn't get an active connection. And that's because this one is outside of my agency. So this one is actually a different Go High Level account than the rest of these. So if you're running into that where either it is one in your agency and it's just having a hard time connecting, or it's outside of your agency, that connect accounts up in the top right is not going to work. And if you look at the tooltip, it basically tells you that this only works for Go High Levels in your actual agency. And because the agency connection that you did over here doesn't accommodate for ones outside of it. And then sometimes I've even seen this where you try to OAuth one and for some reason Go High Level just says you don't own it. It could be a transferred account, from way back when. It could be something like that. You won't get that connection, right? This little connection thing here. So how do we connect to this one? Or if we have a stubborn one even inside of our go high level that's not connecting, how do we connect a stubborn one? Now, if you go here and you see connect to GHL, and again, you'll see this, by the way, so if you have one in your agency, you can try doing that. It'll try to schedule an OAuth on this account, but you'll probably get the same error, right? We can't use our agency connection for something outside of our agency, and sometimes go high level they don't want to work with us, right? What you could do is under connect GHL, you can do direct connection. Now, just kind of going through both scenarios here, if this is one of my agency, rather than selecting my agency when I get to this this marketplace OAuth integration thing, I would pick my sub account. For this example, because this was an outside go high level account, right? I'll just show you that by doing it. I'm logged into this one. What I'm going to do is go to app.gohighlevel.com and I'm going to log into my other go high level account just to show you this. Okay, so I'm in this second go high level account where this sub account is actually hosted. So I'll do the direct connection here, connect to GHL direct connection. This button is also up here. It says create account, but if the account already exists, we'll just connect it, right? So either way you press this one, it's going to take you to the portal for GHL integration. Now, just through GHL OAuth rules, we still have to show you the agency, but in this cadence, in this scenario, instead of like selecting the agency, we'll just select that sub account specifically, which is going to allow us to directly connect to that sub account. And again, this can be for a tricky sub account that just doesn't want to connect at your agency level, could be for a million different reasons. No worries on that. We account for it, right? And this can also be for sub accounts that are outside of your agency. If you're doing some sort of AI automation agency or you're managing an account for someone else in their high level, what I'm going to do is this should pop up here. Great. All right. So I'm trying to connect. If I go back to my workspace 1 second. Now I am trying to connect to assistable dev environment. We'll see that one here. So if I'm doing a direct connection, I can select this one, but what it's going to do is it's just going to change my agency level, right? And theoretically that would work for the one, but not the rest of the ones. We account for this. So just click this assistable dev environment. You get a couple options, make sure these are selected, and then proceed. And what it's going to do is it's going to directly connect to that sub account specifically. And so you'll see in this use case where I have that account already in mine, what it's going to do is just connect to it for me, right? And it's going to take me directly there to do that. So it's going to, you'll see this data collection page, or if you're in the iframe, you won't see any of this happening because it'll be in the iframe, but it's going to do a little redirecting for me. And what I should notice in my workspace is now I have an active connection. I am good to go. That red banner of death is gone, right? Easy enough. And then in the other scenario of where this may come up, where maybe you have a sub account in your agency or maybe another agency and you want to add it directly and connect it, make it really, really easy on yourself. I could do that same thing, direct connection here. And like I said, this works for outside sub accounts or sub accounts that you already are hosting in your agency. So what I'm going to do is connect to that other sub account that you saw in there, right? That's not inside this portal. What I'll do is select that one, which doesn't currently exist. So this could be a sub account in your high level or another high level. This is just an easy way to connect it if we're going over all OAuth steps here. So my internet's a little slow. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm back here. And again, this can be in my agency or an outside agency. This account I want, it doesn't exist. I want to connect it and create it. I'll click on this one, make sure everything's good to go, and I'll proceed through. And what that's going to do is, sorry, my internet. What it's going to do is connect that account, create it if it doesn't exist, and then throw it into my agency if it's not already somewhere in the system, right? So I think this one may be in the system somewhere, but under the same just idea here. In fact, I think I have it archived. What it would do is create and connect the account. And you can see that here it's connected to another agency I have. But at least this one in this fact doesn't have that red banner, right? So anything to do with the idea of OAuth can be done one of two ways, either with your agency connected here. We see this reset connection. Now this is my workspace as my agency. This is my agency level integration. And I can just connect my accounts using this button if not connected. And if I have a stubborn sub account, or I have a sub account that is outside of my go high level, this will not work for accounts that are outside of your go high level. And yes, sometimes if your agency owns the account, it's still stubborn, right? And sometimes go high level sends us back. You don't see this error like here in the front, but sometimes it'll say that your agency doesn't actually own your location ID. Not sure why. That direct connection should do it for you. You even saw in this example, we were able to get all of the accounts back into connection, back active, back working just as they should be. So that is OAuth in every way you can do it. And just to recap, here's my agency connection. I can do this here, which connects all of my agency connections. If I have one that's being stubborn, I can use this direct connection here and then click on the sub account and connect the sub account directly. Or if this is a new account, I can either use my custom menu link and then use this, or I can do the direct connection, create the account, and then connect it and own it by my agency. Either way, all three ways work.